This overload.
Welcome to Technically Speaking, the show for the technically challenged. I'm Stephanie, and today we're talking about wearable technology, specifically those fitness bands that you've probably seen lots of people wearing, something like this. Well, when I first thought of getting one for myself, I wanted some answers from people I could trust. So what did I do? I put the question on Facebook, and I got answers and opinions galore. And I struck pay dirt because two of my most favorite people in the world had some very strong opinions, as well as funny stories, all about wearable tech. So please welcome to our studio my guests for today, my cousin, Christine Gannon.
Thanks.
And my brother-in-law, Craig Schwab.
Pleased to be here.
Oh, pleased that you're here too. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for having some pretty strong opinions about these things. So many people were just like, I love it, it's such a great thing, but you two actually had things to say. So first of all, what are you wearing, and when did you get it? Why are you wearing it? Chris, what have you got there?
Hi, Steph. I have an Acer Leap.
Okay, well, purple one.
It
Look
is
at you.
purple. It is my favorite color. And I
That's
got
so
it for
pretty.
Christmas, actually.
Okay.
My mom had given one to my father and to myself.
Ooh, like matching. Is his purple too?
His is black.
Okay. And what was the reason for this joint gift for the two of you? Was it to inspire you, or?
It was to inspire, and we had spoken about it at one point, and I was planning on going on a diet, so
Okay.
it would be complimentary to that.
Oh yeah, because dieting is like
Yes.
a four-letter word.
This is a lot more fun than a diet is.
Absolutely. And so you've had it now for about 4 months, 4
Yes.
months.
Mhm.
Okay. And Craig, how about you? What are you wearing? When did you get it?
I got the Fitbit that my wife bought me for Christmas.
Oh, very nice.
And the premise of this was I had an accident about 2 years ago, and I needed to have something that would regiment my exercise so that I can maintain, steps in the right direction for what, and I actually share the information with my doctor when I go once a month for therapy sessions.
Look at that.
Excellent.
Okay. Now, I hadn't bought one yet. In fact, I put the question out there and got the opinions, and as the opinions were mounting, I decided I would wait until after our episode to buy one because I'm still sitting on the fence. I'm wearing a Jawbone that I actually borrowed from our station manager, Jimmy. Jimmy was the first person I ever saw wearing one of these years ago, and I couldn't figure out, what are you wearing and what is the point? And now it seems every meeting I go to, people are wearing these little gizmos. So pros and cons about these things, and I'm sure there's many, because remember, I haven't gotten one yet. Now you're on an exercise diet program. Is it helping?
Yes, it's very motivational for me because I'm not a really self-motivated kind of person. I need.
So like the thing yells at you and tells
It
you
does
to
not
exercise?
speak to me at all, which is nice, but it does track my steps,
Okay.
and then I become aware of that. So I look and say, let me take the dog for a walk and let me go. My dad and I are my dad's very competitive.
Your dad and you are very competitive.
Okay, I'm not as competitive as he is, but I like to mess with him because it gets him going. So I was heading over to their house, and he said, "Oh, I got 1,000 steps already today." So I said, "All right, well," I was just messing with him, and so I took my leap off
Okay.
and I connected it to the dog's collar. And then I went outside and played ball with the dog and threw the ball a bunch of times. And my dog Fresh Das had acquired 5,000 steps, another 4,000 to my 1,000. And
Well, that reminds me of something I mentioned. When Craig wants to know something or wants to impart knowledge on others, I think I got 5,000 pages worth of articles all about health and technology, and one of them, just going with the dog and the fitness band, you mentioned that there was a college, or you didn't mention, but the article from the New York Times had a college that was requiring, and this is where we're going to talk about, are these things kind of going over the line?
Correct.
But it was requiring that the students wear this band, not a college that my children are at, thank goodness, and that they get 10,000 steps per day. It was a requirement. And while I think it's a wonderful ideal, when I read this article, I think I emailed back to you, does everyone at that college put their Fitbit on the kids on the lacrosse team so they can just run around and rack up points, or do they have a dog that they're running around? I couldn't believe that they would require it. So
well, therein lies the dilemma. Okay? I think these are, and these are the evolutionary process of ankle bracelets that prisoners wore, and now we are actually saying this is cool, and look, they come in beautiful colors,
right.
and what we're actually embracing is technology, again, monitoring in ways that we may not be, wanting to occur.
Absolutely.
And because of that, my whole question comes into how accurate is the information off of here.
And how shared is it?
And how shared it is. And with regard to the Fitbit industry, when you sign up for their technology, it's telling me things. It's all wonderful and fantastic from the get-go, but I'm wondering if I'm signing up to, so suddenly they're saying where I am and what I'm doing, and all of a, it just becomes a monitoring device.
Right. Well, technology in general, even before these things, we're all carrying around cell phones, which means, let's be honest, we can be tracked to within 20 feet. Even before the cell phones, I'd mentioned to you that when they first had that Easy Pass on the bridge, I had a very close friend who flatly refused to get an Easy Pass because she didn't want it tracked. Not that she was even up to no good.
That's a common fear.
But she did not want it tracked that she was crossing the bridge. And that was before the days of cell phones when they invented that. And now that we're all carrying basically a GPS tracker in our pockets, and we are willingly doing so, and now we are actually strapping a tracker to our wrists that in this particular college, for example, they can fail their students for not obeying things. Is the next step that our health insurance is going to charge us more money if we don't do 10,000 steps a day? Because certainly our information is being saved. I'm sure that there's no one who has read the 500 pages of do you agree before clicking the agreement box. So we really don't know what is happening with our information. Your information is being shared with your doctor.
That's correct. Willingly.
Willingly.
I mean, I literally bring him the watch and we say, this week I want you to concentrate on getting this number up and what have you.
And how fantastic that he can see that.
In a medical format, the opportunities are endless.
Right.
But for just purposes of us being monitored for a reason, and for yourself to be doing it for personal reasons, you want to be, but even that is being shared.
Yep.
Yeah, well, shared information is certainly a problem. I'm just going to scroll through some things just to show some of our viewers what is being shared in case they've never had one of these gizmos. This is just all the lovely colors and shapes they come in. They are fashion pieces now. And the device is being synced to your cell phone, so that on your cell phone, some of these devices, I could tell on yours, not on mine, there's a little screen.
Yes.
So you could actually see your steps
Correct.
or things like that. But some devices, like the one that I'm wearing, doesn't have a screen. And that was actually one of the things I was kind of debating between. I find that the ones without a screen are a little smaller, I don't want to say a little more fashionable, but their goal was definitely looks. And then the ones with a screen are a little bit larger to accommodate the screen. But in either case, whether or not it has a screen, everything is being sent to your cell phone.
Yes.
And there's all sorts of tracking going on. We're going to look through on an iPad in a few minutes, but certainly your steps, if you're running, if you're climbing stairs, that's all being tracked, which is great because I've been embarrassed to see my steps on some days, and maybe it made me get up
Right.
and walk a little bit more. You and I had a talk also about it tracking your sleep.
Yes.
Now these gizmos can, besides tracking when he sees you when you're sleeping, you know. So
Yeah.
so do you have it tracking your sleep, and have you learned anything?
I have, it's actually, you have to set it. The one I have, it doesn't automatically track your sleep.
Okay, so it doesn't
So
know
I-
that you're sleeping.
No, I actually have to push a button and start it to sleep,
Okay,
which is very nerve-wracking to me.
because you're falling asleep trying to remember to push the
Because
button.
I'm either falling asleep and then trying to remember to do it, or set it
And then you didn't fall
and then I
asleep.
didn't fall asleep.
Right.
So now I have to get up and
Reset it.
try to set it again, and I'm sleeping. Well, it doesn't matter. Well, if I don't fall asleep within the next 5 minutes, well, then I'll set it. But then I won't set it.
Okay, I'm a little too type A for
If
yours.
it's gonna, yeah. And so I just don't bother
the
because
sleep
luckily I can count, and so I pretty much know. Oh, okay. I fell asleep at around 9, and so I got up at 3:30. So I
You
got
know
this
exactly
many
what-
hours of sleep.
Right. Is yours tracking your sleep?
It does automatically.
Okay.
And I'm averaging 4.5 hours of sleep. a
Uh
night.
huh.
Okay. So.
It's about me.
Yeah. and the
Does it yell at you, or like with your mother or something?
Well, what I'd like to emphasize is there are devices that have been around, you know, since the ankle bracelet thing. But there are companies that are out there that are doing marvelous things with these kind of hand and wrist wearable things, and some of them even, like you mentioned before, yours was buzzing.
Yes, it buzzed at me all of a sudden.
Yeah, this gets text messages if I get a message on my phone, so
nice.
that will buzz for that.
Right,
But
right.
you could set all kinds of different alarms with this, and the high-end devices. We're talking, like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for these things.
Oh.
I've seen them. Yeah.
Wow.
But they're being given to cancer patients to monitor all different levels of their blood levels, and besides heart rate, just anything that would put them in danger.
Wow.
See, so in that regard, I mean, that's where this technology is going.
Mm-hmm.
When we first got calculators years ago, they paid, up to, now they come in,
Right,
in a box of
$5.
cereal. So
Right.
The future of these things, I might be able to answer a text message by just talking like Dick Tracy, into them soon, So
And while these, I'll call them consumer versions, can check your pulse and your heart rate,
correct.
maybe the more high-end ones can actually sense things going on in your body.
Yeah.
Maybe a seizure patient,
Absolutely.
they could tell
That's
before
correct.
the seizure happens.
Right.
Or a heart patient before an aneurysm or something else happens in the body.
Right. So the wearable technology in and of itself is an amazing, step forward for us as mankind. Okay, but we're using them as fashion statements.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Really, okay, really, that's what happens.
And motivators. The first
Motivators.
now I don't have a band yet, but I have a little app on my phone that tells me how many steps, which means now, of course, I carry my phone with me even if I go to the bathroom because I want the credit. And if I realize, oh my gosh, I just ran up 3 flights of stairs and I left my phone, I feel bad because I didn't get credit for those 3 flights of stairs. Well, the first night I was using this, I only had, I don't know, 1,200 steps, and it told me I needed 10,000. So I walked around my dining room table over and over and over and said, I'm getting nowhere with this. This is just insane. But I could see how it's a motivator. Another person who had written in when I wrote this mentioned that she was doing Weight Watchers, and she can absolutely see a correlation between if she's hitting her 10,000 steps, she is losing weight. She absolutely sees that. It's, you know, even with all other things being equal, she can walk those 10,000 steps and she is losing weight, and then you feel like I have control over this. You're nodding.
Right.
So this is working for you.
This is true. Yeah, it is very true. It is not only a motivator for me, but it's it makes me feel good at the end of the day. You know,
Right.
that I'm doing stuff.
Now, is it bad if on the flip side it makes you feel bad at the end of the day?
12 years of Catholic school, I'm pretty much done with all that. I
feel
don't, you
bad.
know, it's,
So you don't look at
I
it
get
and
over
say,
it pretty quickly.
Well, I was a lump today.
Yeah, I say,
really-
well, I must have needed it.
Okay, okay. So that's good, because I'd be afraid that, you know, we were talking about listening to the they who tell us. I'm going to take a look at some stats here just so we can show our viewers what exactly we're looking at. Let me get this open. I'd mentioned that I don't have my own little band yet, so this is Jimmy, our station manager's band, and subsequently his statistics for today, which is good because my statistics weren't nearly as good as his. Mine would have been a little bit embarrassing. But just so you can see what we're looking at and what it's tracking. So far today, he's completed 4,208 steps, which the computer here, is clocking at 42% of what they want him to do for the day. Now, of course, they is that he set the goal. And then the band, the app,
Calculates.
reinforces the goal. It also is clocking his sleep, and I'm delighted to see that he got more sleep this last night than I probably got all week. Maybe I should get one of these bands just to encourage me to get some sleep. The thing that's nice, especially with some sort of a weight loss program, is the food score also. Now, the band can't tell what you're eating. You would have to put in your food,
Yes.
type it in. You do that also? You type your food in?
No, it has, mine has calories burned, but I have to be aware of what
And you sort of kind of guesstimate, I guess.
Sure.
I see here that it knows how many calories he's eaten already today and how many are left. However, his estimate to burn in one day would be 2,000 calories, I guess, based on prior days. So if he actually burns the 2,000 calories, instead of eating, let's say, only 423 more today, he could eat 1,000 more today. So this is how, if you wear these things and you check it out, you could, you know, polish off a box of Russell Stover for dessert with no guilt. I like that. Of course, if on the flip side you don't walk around the dining room table 10,000 times at the end of the day.
Probably would have done better if you jumped over the dining room table, though.
Would it clock better?
It would have clocked better, yeah.
Oh, okay. Or
Yeah.
now I know I should have put it on the
Don't
dog.
put it on the dog.
I
There you
should have
go.
just put it on the
Yeah,
dog and had the
right,
dog running
right.
around. So I could certainly see, especially if you're trying for weight loss or health, you look at this. And even if you changed nothing else about your life, just seeing this in front of my face, it's kind of like with Weight Watchers. I always figure the key thing with Weight Watchers is that they weigh you every week when you show up and they announce it. And that would be enough for me that I would do anything they wanted. But this is like
right.
this is like every day, and it's like buzzing at you and things like that. Now, both of you have been wearing this for about a little over 3 months now. Any regrets?
No, I have no regrets. It's just for me. I don't take I don't take it too seriously.
Okay.
I enjoy it and I use it as a. It's like anything else. It's a tool.
Right.
It's a tool, and so I enjoy it. I have fun with it. I check in with it, and it's a tool.
How many
to
times a day do you
improve.
check?
Whether
Whether on your arm or in the app?
It
or-
depends on how ADD and how OCD I get. It's
Are you like nuts? Are you like, I walked 400 steps. I walked 402. I walked
No.
405. No, you're not like that.
no, not at all. But I do. At work, there are different positions that I can have. One of my jobs is with Starbucks,
Okay.
and so two of the positions are are standing still.
Okay.
Really,
Still.
really standing still.
Right.
You do motions, but it's a matter of 2 or 3 feet that you're traveling.
Right.
And then there are other positions in the store where you're running around like crazy.
Okay.
And like you were saying about the flights of stairs, when I'm on one of these positions, when I'm
You wanna be wearing it.
being the gopher for the store,
Right.
oh, I don't have my band on. I wonder how many steps I did today.
I didn't get the points.
And then I'll remember it and I'll be at the register, which is like move 2 feet, go away.
And now
2
you're
feet.
wearing it.
2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So far you're glad you have it? Good gift?
Oh yes,
Good gift for Mom?
I really enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it.
How about you?
Well, my wife gave it to me, so she asks every day if I'm wearing it.
Well, I
But
wasn't sure if you
we're-
would be, so
no,
I even
well-
I even texted you and said, make sure you wear
Yeah.
it when we're on television.
But we're losing sight of my dilemma.
Okay.
And that is that, it's fantastic for self-motivation, for maintaining all these grandiose goals that we set for ourselves. But meanwhile, that information is being shared
It is.
with
It absolutely is.
and
People we don't know.
I worked in retail for years, and there was this goal where they constantly wanted to know what the customer was doing, right to the point where we have today that they know exactly if you're in the store,
Right.
they know what your preferences are and what have you.
And if you're buying online, even more so.
Yes,
They
they're
know
going to
everything.
start sending you all kinds of
Right.
stuff. I'm already seeing from wearing this things in email that I've
Oh.
never, like, do I want to run in the upcoming marathon and triathlon
Right.
just because I signed up for this.
Right.
Okay. Eventually, someday, I would like to do that, but that's not where I am yet.
No, I hear you. I mean, that kind of tracking, you were mentioning retail. If I'm online and I'm looking at a pair of boots and I don't buy the boots are going to pop up on every single page that I have for
You looked at
weeks
this,
until
yep.
I
well,
buy
what's
the
scary
boots.
if you look, let's say you're on Amazon, you look up something on your phone. If you go to your Facebook page,
It's there.
It's there.
That's right.
So
So now that we're wearing these, am I going to start getting those, you really should walk more, or here's a new pair of sneakers,
Absolutely.
or I'm going to start getting ads.
there's
And besides advertising, now the next question was what I mentioned with health insurance. Are we going to pay higher premiums if we don't walk or if we eat badly?
it's coming down the pike because, and not to take away from all the wonderful things it can do, but again, the way information is used against us
Exactly.
is a problem on every level.
And insurance companies are thrilled because
Oh,
we're all
please.
just buying them in
Yes.
droves.
Yeah.
So we're paying for the privilege of being tracked.
Yes.
And certainly the information that is being captured on the iPad, or I have a screenshot here, is absolutely being sold.
Correct.
Whether the information is being sold to health food suppliers who want to know more about what people in a particular zip code are eating just to know whether or not to put a Whole Food store, or whether it's being sold to Sleepy's mattresses who want to know about our sleep patterns in a particular zip code, again because of retail purposes, or to insurance or other companies. It is absolutely being sold.
Well, I brought up that you and I love music, and I'm a product of the 60s. So you see, I wore my mood ring
Ooh.
And the mood ring's supposed to say how I feel. If we can find a way to hook this up to the internet and sell it, there's no telling. We'd be billionaires by,
Oh, absolutely.
you know.
Because all of a sudden your Facebook feed
Yeah.
will have
I'm wondering if I wear this on the same hand as my watch, if it's affecting, you know, the
Your
way,
mood.
yeah, my mood. Yeah.
Well, I feel that every office
Love
building
mood ring.
should have their glass
Mm.
mood ring.
I like
Mood
it.
ring glass. This
Yeah.
way you know on your way to work,
How your boss is.
if it's
Yeah.
blackish gray,
There
you're
you
just
go.
calling sick that day because you know there's just
And you could have that
bad
tied
mood
into your
you.
boss, and they could say, "Oh, look, she wasn't feeling well today. You know, look at the mood ring." You know? You see, it's
It is.
so
Just
it's
saying,
good.
you
a
never
slippery
know.
slope.
This is where we
Well,
go.
I said that to you when I first mentioned wanting one. I said, do I really want, I mean, in its best, it's a motivator.
Mm-hmm.
At its worst, it's an ankle bracelet from a prison. And
Yes.
somewhere in the middle, it's my mother yelling at me because I don't sleep enough.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to buy into that system? Is it worth it for the motivation? I of course, have my favorite motivational quotes here because I'm hoping that it's worth it for the motivation, but there is a whole sidebar with what we're actually getting when we want to be motivated.
Yeah. Well,
Selling our souls for a Fitbit, you know?
well, if anyone knows anything about motivation, it's Woody Allen. Okay?
Exactly.
Well, I like Alan Thicke. I agree
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
because
Well, that's why we wear them.
I'll get on a treadmill in 5 minutes. I'm tired. I don't want to do it anymore.
Right.
But if I get on my Kinect, my Xbox Kinect,
Exactly.
it's telling me like take a break.
And,
but it's fun.
You know, health, fitness, this is a good thing.
Yes.
And if it helps us to be fit, this is a good thing. But did we just pay $100, $200, whatever, for a bracelet that's selling our information to, you know, companies across the world?
Well, I think sooner or later they're going to say, well, look, Steph just sat on the couch for 3 hours, you know, binge watching on Netflix, you know, so, so it gets that ridiculous.
And then the thing is going to start buzzing
yeah,
at me
right.
to get my butt off the couch and
But
start
then
moving.
again, to one of my points, I'd like to emphasize it. It's a youth-oriented culture. They love this stuff, and more power to them. They're not coming from life's expectations the same angle that we might.
Right.
See, so they buy into it, and I
Yeah,
mean,
well, they
that's
put their whole
why
life on
that's
Instagram
why
too,
there's
so-
lines around the corner if a new iPhone is released.
Exactly.
Okay, so what can you say?
What expectations?
Well, you make your decision. But for now, we're going to hope that these are going to motivate us to better health, maybe better weight, and better fitness for all of us. Thank you so much for joining us on Technically Speaking.